Something's knocking. I'm not sure if it's the chain or what it is. Hello and welcome to another beautiful day in the Austrian Alps. Today we are discussing what has happened to my bike since we've repaired it and is it going to be successful to ride it. Now, we have repaired multiple things on this bike, namely the clutch rod, the crankcase. We pretty much filled the leak. We also changed the chain as well as the sprockets, and we also changed the clutch actuator assembly. Now, last episode we finished all of the repairs, and in this episode we are testing to see if the bike holds up, how the repairs hold up, and whether we fixed it. Now, before going for this test ride, we made sure, of course, that all parts are installed. We checked that the oil level is good, we checked that all the electronics are working, and we also did already check the bike in first and in second gear by putting it on the jack stands and just letting it run. We did, however, not accelerate. In our first test ride, I went with David as well as my dad on the bike, and we tested to see, does the bike work at all, how does it feel? And very early on we already found that the second gear makes a terrible, terrible rattling noise. You can hear that, but I can hear something like a funny noise. Wondering about the oil. Something's knocking. I'm not sure if it's the chain or what it is. Die. Trrr.
Ja, ist ja fast. Fahr ins Warten rauf und lass sie rollen. Naja, das ist geil. Leider sich, wenn das Getriebe ins Warten dann die Freilauf hat. Die Zähne auf die anderen Flanken rucken, da rattert es. Nur beim zweiten. Mit beim zweiten, ja.
Bist du im zweiten Gang gewesen, wo das passiert ist?
Ja.
Ja, dann wundere ich mich gar nicht.
Nein. Aber
dann hat der Zahnrad, vielleicht entweder ist er nackt raus, ein Zahn raus oder zwei. Das kann sein.
Aber es ist ja nichts drin gewesen, weißt du? Das Öl war
in der Öl.
Gar nichts.
Ja, und was ist, wenn der irgendwo hängt? Also der muss nicht unten im Karter hängen.
I also let David and my dad take a quick ride on my bike to see and hear for themselves. And when David comes back, he discusses that it definitely is the second gear, and he thinks that maybe one of the teeth of the second gear may have broken off or is in some way damaged. But when we did oil changes 2 times already, we did not find anything, not even metal shavings whatsoever in the oil. So where does this noise come from, and is there maybe a tooth still in the oil pan? That is what we asked ourselves at this point.
Zahn richten. zeige jetzt sowieso nicht. Aber den Spann, was drin ist. Der kann da unten irgendwo sein. Der kann da unten irgendwo hängen. Jetzt sollten wir jetzt das Öl auslassen. Auspuff weg. Und danach kannst du die Ölwanne nach unten wegstellen.
Und dann von unten schauen. Also die Ölwanne, ja, ich habe sie nur Öl abgelassen.
Also, dass man Spann oder halt das Stück rausbringen.
Ja.
As I was riding, I quickly found that this rattling noise only appears when I let go of the accelerator in second gear. It does not appear in any higher gears or at higher speeds, or even when I just accelerate in second gear. You cannot hear any rattling noise. It's just when I let go of the accelerator in second gear. So, why is that? After some further riding, we also found that the oil does still leak from the crankcase, so unfortunately, even though I have tried fixing this crankcase, the small hairline cracks multiple times, it is still not completely sealed. Now, this first test that we had in the garage on the jack stands, we found that we did not notice any rattling noise because we weren't accelerating on the jack stands. Obviously, because that would be a little bit dangerous, but that is why we had not noticed this earlier, and we could not have known that there was this internal damage. So, what now? Well, at this point we decided it would be a good idea to take out the oil pan and see if there are any bits and pieces of some gears or metal shavings in the oil pan that didn't get out in an oil change. We expected to see some kind of tooth of a gear, the second gear for example, but as we looked into it, we found only very small metal pieces, metal shavings rather than an actual flank or a tooth of a gear. And when looking up at the gears from underneath, we couldn't see any true damage, at least not anything that made such an intense rattling noise. And this is when we decided maybe we should go to a bike mechanic and have it professionally looked at. After the bike mechanic tested my bike, he told me that the gearbox is unfortunately in such bad condition that I should not ride it, and instead of changing the gearbox, which would take a lot of effort and a lot more money, probably be much more costly, he suggested swapping the engine entirely, especially also because the crankcase is still leaking oil. Now, he did suggest if I wanted them to change the engine or to fix the gearbox rather, it would cost me upwards of 3,000 euros. So that to me is not really an option because the bike itself only cost me around 4,000 euros. Now the reason why a gearbox repair would be so expensive, 3,000 euros, is because unlike in a car where the gearbox is separate from the engine, in a motorcycle the gearbox is in the same cycle as the rest. So you cannot exactly really separate the two. If you want to change anything about the gearbox, you have to take apart the entire engine. That is what makes it so costly, and that is in the end why we've decided it would probably be a better idea to just look for another used engine and swap the entire thing. This is something that is going to be a winter project for this year, I hope, and I am currently looking to buy an engine. Now, that is the state of my Yamaha XJ6N today. That is the end of the season as well, so I'm looking forward to getting an engine and changing the engine on my Yamaha XJ6. I think it's going to be a great and very interesting project. I've never done anything like this before, but I am most excited to do it. So, this is all for today. I hope you still kind of enjoyed the video and the content that I'm making. And with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.